Well, hello, it's been a little bit, but today we're going to dive deep into something that has bubbled up with the Wizards of the Coast and the TSR case. Yeah, that's right. TSR files bankruptcy, creating a stay on the situation and the lawsuit that's going on between them and Wizards of the Coast and the YouTuber Tankard, although they've filed to ignore the stay. We'll have to wait to see how that one plays out. Now, this is an interesting twist in events for something that I felt like I called out back when this all started with the Indiegogo, when they tried to fundraise for their museum, when they tried to offer everyone these magical gift cards or these magical memberships that actually meant something. Well, not really. They were just pieces of paper and they hold absolutely no value, even though you've paid upwards to $5,000 to get these things. And they were able to fundraise back then, I think it was about $6,000. And obviously, they leveraged that and they were able to coast along just to have some assets and to create things down the line just to keep the business open. Well, today we see that they have filed for bankruptcy, putting Wizards of the Coast lawsuit on hold. So this also lists that the assets for the Dungeon Hobby Shop, or TSR, for them actually only had about $600 in assets since the start of 2023, and that they're over $300,000 indebted to creditors. Now, it's a very strange place where these creditors happen to be. So on June 8th, they filed for bankruptcy, and then they've got the list of creditors here, listing the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum. Eric Stein, one, I believe that is one of the lawyers in the YouTuber case against Tankard Tavern. Hardwater Tattoo, which is owned by Justin Lanasa. Imix Law Group PC, I don't know them. Internal Revenue Aid Service, so the IRS. Lanasa himself is listed as a debtor. A couple more lawyers, North Carolina Revenue, so more taxes, Wisconsin Department of Revenue, and Wizards of the Coast. Mostly the Wizards of the Coast and the Tankard ones were just to create stays in those lawsuits, so the bankruptcy proceedings will happen, and then those cases will continue to go on. Now, where does this list everything? Now, I'm trying to go through a lot of things, and I've found a little bit of where the listing is, and it seems that most of the debit is to Justin himself. So for me, I don't go through these cases into full details because you got to sign up, you got to pay things, and it seems that some people have turned around and been able to repost some of the stuff going on here. So this is on ianworld.org. Someone's posting here saying that there is $21,000 owed in the Wizards of the Coast case to the lawyers right now. They've got like almost $100 in fees for bounce checks, and then the big number, the $363,000 that Justin Lanasa is saying is owed to himself from TSR LLC. This is a very interesting turn of events, considering they did pay out to Wizard Tower Games for one of the games that has been in contention, that has gone up and down through the courts, and that in itself is on its own sort of leg. And then we have also a lot of the things that are listed on the TSR website, on the Dungeon Hobby Shop, are now being rebranded to OSR Games. Old school Renaissance or old school resources, whatever you want to call them, they're now being relabeled not as a TSR trademark. It is particularly funny where these things seem to go in life. Well, first off, TSR LLC apparently listed that they had $620 in assets, and yet things are still moving along. Things are still selling along because they're posting it to their Facebook page, how they're selling this dungeon crawl with the TSR logo on it still, even though it's listed as an OSR game, which what's going on here? Tim Cast also dialing in on this, saying NuTSU or NuTSR, NuTSR, bankrupt. Oh my, what's the world coming to? It senses big surprises when you're headed by a slime ball, and he's referring to Justin Lanasa in that sense. And the Dungeon Hobby Shop, these are the people that huddle together as a team. I thought as you get older, you get wiser. This is not the case for some. Now, I have to say, them listing a bankruptcy and Justin Lanasa being the biggest debitor in this case, it just seems to be more of games being played within the court system. That's all that I can see here. It's now money moving from one hand to another, and by them rebranding their trademarks to something else, it's trying to create some sort of protection for those trademarks so they don't get scooped up by the courts in a bankruptcy case, especially when they're able to sell them still. And I got all of that. Going back to the comic book article, TSR is an entity might be finished with its bankruptcy, but it's unclear whether it will impact the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum. While it appears that they're separate from TSR's bankruptcy, but they list them on the page as one of the debitors or one of the creditors as the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum Facebook page. So, once again, this is all just moving the cups. Can we follow the ball? Can we follow the ball? Where's the ball going to land? Where's it going to land? That's the game that's going on right now with the courts. We'll have to wait to see where this one lands, if the courts buy into it or if they dive deep into the bankruptcy proceedings to actually see where the mixed assets really are. And this is one of the things with it. When you have all of these many different entities being listed and you own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now you get to play the shell game. And where's that game going to lie? Where is the bankruptcy going to lie? Where's Wizards of the Coast going to go with all of this? And we will have to wait to see. This is one of these cases where they filed for bankruptcy. What does this really mean? Does it mean that the court case is off? No, it means it's been delayed to March 2024 instead of October 2023. Well, this is probably the only thing that Justin Lanasa has in his back pocket, was to file this bankruptcy for TSR LLC, delaying certain things, pushing them forward, moving them along just to see where things really do go. And, you got to have your fingers crossed that the bankruptcy doesn't uncover certain assets that are actually listed for their company, or if, once again, this is going to be a shell game. Where's the ball going to lie? And that's more what this looks like to me. It doesn't look like they're up. It doesn't look like everything's over. It doesn't look like it's the end of this at all. It's just putting it on hold. Now, with the Wizards of the Coast lawsuit, they do list Justin Lanasa himself on that suit, so we will have to really see where that goes. TSR being dropped off that suit wouldn't end it because of Lanasa also being listed on there, and that makes things very interesting in that front, because Wizards of the Coast did accuse Justin of fraudulent actions with the trademark filings in the first place in the United States Trademark Patent Office. So there's a lot of little nuanced details here, and you're not going to know where they're going to lie. And it's, once again, just one of these games to further push and maybe to gather more evidence or to buy more time to be able to get this case dropped. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix, Cindershadow, signing off here, just giving you a little bit of an update on the Wizards of the Coast TSR case. I'm still following it in the background. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you again very soon.